Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another indie comic book review. Not too late this time actually. We're going up about a day late, or 2 days late really. But anyway, we got a nice amount of books. We got 12 digital, 1, 2, 3, 4
Physical-ish
physical. Yep. I don't have that many this week.
Of course.
So you better make it brief.
So yeah, you better make it brief.
Hopefully we will have the Big 2 review just to give you guys a wee bit of an update. We will hopefully have the Big 2 review ready for you guys Wednesday night, Thursday morning, because tomorrow night is Frontline Live. So Tuesday night we will be live on Comic Frontline, but the following night we probably will catch up with the Big 2. I do have 2 reviews I'll be posting up on Comic Frontline, one from Marvel, one from DC, but the rest will all be on well, those 2 will also. But anyway, the Big 2 review should be on Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Yep, so without further ado, let's do the comic books which were released on June 3rd, 2015, the first week of June.
Yes.
And we're starting with Archie Comics of the second variant poster of Sonic Boom, issue number 8.
It's so hard without a logo, but because it's going to be a poster, we have to,
Yeah, so it's right here. And I like how they put the tile, like, right here on the bottom.
Oh, they did where?
That way. Right here. Sonic Boom, number 8.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay.
You know, so see? And this is part 2 of 12 of the World Unite.
10 more
Just
issues to
wanted
go.
to point that out. So it just starts off where Mega Man X in his adult form, along with AXL and Zero, who are in the Sonic Boom universe, and they said that it was referred to from Mega Man number 1 of the one-shot that's coming out soon. I just want to make sure if I got it right, because I don't want to make an error. No, Mega Man World Unite Battles number 1. That's coming soon in about, hopefully, sometime this month. And
The checklist is right here. Oh,
No.
well, keep going. There should be a
I know.
checklist somewhere.
Well, basically, they go into Dr. Eggman's lab of the 2 robots, Orbot and Cubot, who can make the portals, and here's some artwork, just show, which looks very awesome, to make the portal to go back to their world. Meanwhile, we go into Sonic's world, where both Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman have Sonic and Mega Man captured, and tell Sigma that they're going to do like a transformation, stuff like that. We get a little bit of a backstory where, remember when I said in the last issue?
World Collide here. Mega Man World Unite Battle is in 1, 2, 3 weeks. 3 episodes from now.
Right.
Because Sonic the Hedgehog is, I believe, next.
Yeah, remember when I said the 2 doctors don't remember like who did what to each other in Worlds Collide? It's actually Dr. Wily who forgot, because it's in a different universe. So, but they just said, you know, they just made their differences and said, you know, we're going to transform them to go against each other, Sonic and Mega Man, to kill Sigma. That way they'll have their world to their own. Basically using their doctor geniuses and stuff like that. And when Sonic and Mega Man, they transform, oh boy, they transform for the worst. And I mean, like, wow. That's enough said right there to give you a whole briefing of that. So, you know, it's just, and it goes back and forth to Mega Man's world and Sonic's world, where they can't find out where Sonic and or Mega Man is. So, really something. And that will be a Kitty Corner review I will be doing for Comic Frontline sometime this week.
I know you're going to put my book next. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutanimals, issue number 4 of 4. Hob and his people go up against Null and try to take them down once and for all. However, previous issue, Seymour actually returns this facility to basically blow himself up and destroy the facility. But Hob is quick on his tail, and they actually chase after him to rescue him, and they actually end up rescuing the Doctor as well. There is a little bit of a twist with the Doctor and her girlfriend. I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say Lindsay gets her revenge on Jillian. Hob goes up against Null. I'm not going to spoil that, but let's just say he can't take out Null either. And at first, Null thinks she figured out Hob's big plan. When it turns out Hob basically just says, listen, And he had this whole other thing orchestrated. Read this book to find out. I'll be honest with you, Andy Kuhn's artwork really fit this book perfectly. It may not have fit in the main Turtle book, but this book, I really got through the book without really complaints about the artwork at all. I really enjoyed it. But Hob basically says you can rebuild, but you rebuild, we'll be back. We'll set you back years. We'll expose you to the news. We'll destroy your labs, and then in the end, I will find you. I will... Oh, I love the reference. I will hurt you, and I swear I will kill you.
Oh, that's from Taken reference. Oh.
And then it kind of ends with a big old happy, family-esque moment between all of them. And obviously, spoiler alert here, I will give that, Seymour doesn't die. Lindsay actually ends up saving him just in time before he blows up, which I thought was really nice. And I think this gang will play into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle world really nicely as issue 50 comes. Did you have to read Mutanimals and the grand finale Judgment? Mutanimals was a really nice 4-issue miniseries. Do you need it? No. It doesn't connect to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story arcs at all. However, it does introduce characters from the Turtles world, such as Seymour Guts or the Mutagen Man. And also it expands a little bit more on Old Hob and his gang, as well as Slash. There's a really great character development here for all the characters involved. You don't have to read it. I would say give it a shot, though. Check out the issues. I believe they're only $2.99, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. No, this is the subscription cover, so it doesn't give a price. I believe they're only $2.99, or if they're $3.99, it's only 4 issues. I would wait for the trade paperback and just trade paperback this mini. I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it.
Alright, other 2 books are from Zenescope, are my books. Oz, Reign of the Witch Queen, issue number 2 of 6. In last issue, we found out that the king was dead, and Scarecrow saw Dorothy with the king, and I just want to make sure I get it right. I think it's King something. Oh, why do I keep forgetting? Can't remember. But basically, they see that that he's dead and everything, and basically, they were trying to figure out, how to tell the other people that the king was dead. So, let me show you some artwork, which is drawn very nicely. And what's going on is that, they're trying to find out more about the magic that Dorothy is using, and they think that the whole Zamora thing, of what happened then, and they think that Dorothy is trying to be like her, Smith, however you say his name,
Mm-hmm.
and Dorothy is saying that she's nothing like her at all because because she's the mother and everything. Just for those of you who don't know that out there, and there's just more magic that is used in the Land of Oz, and there's just lots and lots of dialogue, but basically it's just Dorothy saying, I control the scepter and the magic and all that other stuff. So basically they're asking her to lead Oz because the king is dead. She has the power now to lead Oz because of the scepter that she has, which has amazing powers to it, and they just asked her, heed the call and just become a ruler. So the whole base of the book is just her trying to become a ruler. And I did leave out a lot of other stuff because I want you guys to definitely read the book, because I don't want to give too much away because it's a lot to digest to read, but I'd rather you guys read for yourselves and see for that. Wonderland issue number 36.
We're moving from Oz to Wonderland.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? So in this one, we have a lot of things that are going on with one character. How do you say his name?
The Cheshire Cat.
Cheshire Cat, yeah. He gets possessed by one of the other demonic creatures with the Mad Hatter. And I want to show some artwork that's not disgusting. No. Yeah, this art's good. And he meets up with the White Queen, and she knows that there's something wrong with him, so he's like saying, you know, you still have it, so you gotta use the power to overcome this whole thing.
I like the artwork. The artwork's really good in this book.
Yeah, artwork is fantastically drawn, and the White Queen, how she snaps him out of it, along with the demonic creature that comes, the Squire, I think, the name of the demonic forces. They have like this whole big fight scene, and I like how all that happened. But the one thing that she uses is this bracelet to go around his neck, and with it, it gets rid of his powers.
Oh,
so
wow.
therefore, he can use his powers, and he tells Harami that when they keep him in prison, you know, just to not do that. We get a little bit of the mother-daughter moment of Violet in this book that talks with Kali, who is the White Queen. And there is a prison scene that happens when they go meet Squire, and I don't want to give away the ending, because there's a bit of a twist about the prison. I can't give that away. You gotta definitely read the book and see that, but wow. It makes you want to get the next issue. Enough said right there. So definitely check out Zenescope Books. They got amazing stuff, and we're looking forward to their work.
Alright, we're now on Boom Studios. We're in the digital books. Broken World, issue number 1. I've heard good things about this book. I started reading it. I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, basically this story is about the world before the impact. Like,
before a meteorite impact.
Yeah, before a meteorite impact, because there's a whole meteorite that's happening, and they're trying to get people all together in this rocket ship. It kind of reminded me of the 2012 movie, sort of. You know, like when the whole world ending and stuff like that. So she has a family, like she's like a single mom of her son, and she met with this guy who was living with them. That's been like a father to the little boy, and everyone's just trying to get on the ship and everything. And they were together, but they took the single mother out of there for other reasons. You'll just have to read the book to find out. And she was about to make it to the rocket ship that was about to take off, but she didn't make it.
There's a little bit of a twist at the last page, though, as I can see.
There is a little bit of a twist, and now where it goes from there is now the aftermath of the impact. So it's going to be really cool just to see how her character is going to try to survive the aftermath of this disaster. So next issue right here is
Feathers issue 6 of 6.
The final issue. And guys, we finally find out who the Red Note guy was. And get ready for this, because I am going to spoil it. And please do not go fast, because I want to make sure I get the name right. So basically, the Red Note guy, I just want to make sure I got it right.
Is it up more, maybe?
It's up more. The captain is actually the person who was the Red Note guy. I can't remember what his name was, but he basically tries to take away Feather into him, so that way he could gain more power. Because remember, the feathers are the one that keeps Pub, that's his name, thank you, I just remembered it. I think that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Pub? Yeah. That keeps him from being immortal. Meanwhile, his father and the friend over there, that girl, were saving him from this Red Note guy, and the Mice clan was also saved, and we get a little bit more of the backstory, not backstory, we get a little bit of the story of how Feather defeated the captain, and the way that Poe defeated him was really amazing, and I liked how he went into the well with him, then out of nowhere, shoot, he comes right back up, all feathers and everything, just back to being what he was, and now he finally understands why his father didn't want him to go out there in the real world to expose himself. So he kind of a little bit understands, but he has to learn more about the whole keeping it to yourself powers and not exposing yourself out more, because it can be, you know, the effects that it can have on you. Which is basically how I could sum the book. And it just goes back to where it was before. And
however, there is an opening for another volume.
There is an opening for another volume where a white feather comes in, and that really makes me wonder if there's going to be another issue. But guys, trade paperback this issue. It's 6 issues, amazing issue I've read, and definitely just recommended to pick up. Absolutely.
Okay. Justice Inc., The Avenger, written by Mark Waid, by the way.
Yeah,
For Dynamite, we're in Dynamite now.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this book. It talks about the origin of the Avenger. I must have read the origin about him like maybe 2 or 3 times already. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But this is Benson, who is the Avenger. And Benson, what he tries to do is that he's on a mission to try to find out about what was it again? Something about that has to do with the train situation, basically. And there are these gangs who are trying to... Richard Benson, his name is, thank you. Who was trying to take over this whole train thing. And they say that there's a ghost that's on there. And this ghost person has like a brain and a hole inside of him. And it's really kind of weird to see that. And there's just like a little bit of a fight scene between Benson and this ghost. And then after that, it just goes into his whole backstory of how he got the whole gray. Because, you know, he can morph into anything, you know, because that's what Benson's powers are. So you get a little bit of a backstory about that for those of you, I guess, who didn't read much of Avenger as much as I have and know how he got his powers. That's the ghost, by the way, that he fights with. And it's an amazing scene of how he goes after him after he tries to make his escape in the elevator. And then he's like saying, you do know that if you follow him, you can die, right? And then he says, I know. And when he jumps down, I like when he says, I know, when he jumps down, and just to be continued, I'm like, no, I want to see more.
That's classic Mark
It's classic. And I thought it was a one-shot, but I guess was to be continued, so we'll be seeing more of that.
I actually have 2 digital books. Blood Queen versus Dracula, issue number 4. The epic fight between Blood Queen and Dracula happens here. The whole first part of the book is Elizabeth versus Dracula. And the fight is spectacular. The artwork for this book is so good. And every time it looks like Elizabeth's going to win, Dracula pulls something out of his hat. And every time Dracula does something, Elizabeth has some smart-ass remark to just come back at him with. And it's a back and forth thing until the Ottomans show up. And they interrupt the fight. And then it turns from Dracula and Elizabeth to them fighting the Ottomans. And in the end, she offers him a truce. And of course, Dracula doesn't believe her at first. But she says, look, we have a common enemy. And it's these guys, the Ottomans. I will fight them. Oh, it's a proposal. I will fight them in your glory, in your name. Just leave my kingdom and me alone. Okay. And Dracula says fine, and he leaves. But before he leaves a little bit of, let's say something of him behind to make sure that Elizabeth follows his...
Oh, I think I know what it was.
Elizabeth follows his, her proposal and doesn't try to backstab him.
Gotcha.
Leaves it wide open for a new volume.
Oh,
number 1.
End? Oh.
Yes, it's the end. Leaves it wide open for a new volume of Blood Queen if we don't see Dracula, or it leaves open another Blood Queen versus Dracula in the future. I love the writing in this book. The artwork's amazing. Volume 2 of Blood Queen, even though it's Blood Queen versus Dracula, was an amazing book with great action in this last issue. The dialogue is really well done also. The back and forth between Elizabeth and Dracula, spectacular. I loved it. I love the way Dracula was written in this book also. So I would definitely recommend checking out Blood Queen versus Dracula. My favorite of the Blood Queen series thus far, because there was a lot of great action. Origin story was also amazing, so really good stuff. I'm enjoying how Blood Queen is moving forward. Hopefully Troy Brownfield will stay on if they do another volume of Blood Queen, because he's doing an amazing run there. The Phantom from King Dynamite, issue number 3.
Yes, and I could just sum up this whole book. Basically, It's Lottaire, I think that's how you say his name,
Mm-hmm.
tells Jen, who is pregnant, that she is the Phantom because her family bloodline was the legacy of being the Phantom, and it's just her trying to use her powers. And Lothar, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, tells a little bit of his backstory of being the sidekick of the Phantom and all that other stuff, with trying to settle like a little bit of a gang thing that's going on that is like how could I say this? Like it was more of a top secret gang that was trying to promote something that I wish I remembered. No, go down. It's far down, but it's basically just saying that much of what the gang was doing, and yeah, I think it was some shipments that were coming in that they
Probably
stopped
looks
them
like that.
from. Yeah, and in the end, they get one of their gangs kidnapped. Bless you.
Thank you.
Kidnapped in the end, saying that this is what they came for. So they'll find some information. I like the concept of how they like say this person's gonna be the next Phantom, and then they're like saying, "What? That's crazy!" And then the whole family line happens, and then when they start to use their powers, they get more into being that specific superhero or hero, actually.
All right. Masks 2, issue 3.
Yes, and in Masks, we have well, I'll get to the ending part, but basically in the beginning, there's like a whole big chaos that's happening from what we saw in the last issue of the Masks team going up against. Wait, go up. I think it's Maru. No, go up a little bit more.
Taboo.
Oh, Taboo, yeah. So basically, it's Taboo and the gang going up against the Masks crew, and it's just like a whole big fight scene. I love the artwork that's in this story. It brings out like
Looks
more
really
of the,
good.
you know, and it ends up in a explosion because this is all, by the way, taking place in New York. Just wanted to point that out there. And I'm trying to remember, like, they need another team member to join their team, and you know, at first he didn't want to because there was a thing that he worked with them in the past, and if I see his name, Smith, I think his name is something Smith. Well, they actually go to him. No, go down.
Thunderbolt.
I think so. Like, he was part of the Thunderbolt team.
Peter Cannon.
That Mr. Cannon. Thank you, Mr. Cannon. I'm sorry about the names. I'm just trying to remember names. So they asked Mr. Cannon to join the team that has you know, Green Llama, Lady Satan, and the Spider, who is actually part leader of the group. And there's like a whole big invitation for Mr. Cannon to join their group to find out what's going on in the mansion. And I've noticed lately it's taken place in the mansion a lot of times, actually, where these people are wearing costumes and
The scene kind of repeats itself.
yeah, it kind of repeats itself. So it kind of moved a little bit forward, but in other words, Mr. Cannon does join the team, and then the Spider says, "Okay, now that we have a team together, we must work together as a team." It's basically the setup of the team formation of the mansion. I believe it has to do with the skeleton people. I believe that was in the last issue because my mind's a little bit fuzzy because it felt like a while since I've read Max 2. But yeah, so your book is next from
Yes.
Dark Horse?
Angel and Faith, Season 10, issue number 15. Angel is having dreams just like Spike has been having in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
So guess what's going to happen? There's going to be a crossover. But first, Fred wants to take a trip to Europe. And she knows that Angel wants to go back to Ireland. So Angel goes back to a town where his whole killing spree began. Because Fred's like, you're having these nightmares. Maybe we can go travel back into your past, into your memories, and something will jog something in Ireland. So they go, and of course something's going on in the hotel that they're staying at.
Well, of course.
Surprise, surprise. That's the whole main story, with people trying to steal terror. Read the book. It's really good. But then as the book comes to a close, after the whole case goes on, we get the ending to Buffy the Vampire Slayer's previous issue, where Spike actually calls Angel for help with this demon that they're fighting. And, oh, I forgot the demon's name. Archaeus. But anyway, this is where it all kind of connects a little bit. He's like, you know, have you been having the bad dreams I've been having? Well, it's because of this guy. It's because of the person that sired us into being vampires, and we need your help. So Angel's like, I'll be there as soon as I can. And he basically tells Fred to go back to London and do her research on a few people he dreamt about. So now the gigantic crossover between Angel and Faith and Buffy the Vampire Slayer will all begin in Buffy the Vampire Slayer's book.
Oh, wow.
The next issue. Looking forward to it. This was a really great issue. It was a setup issue, obviously, for the crossover, but really great stuff. The story was amazing. Artwork was great. And I left out the main part of the story with what's going on in the town they visit in Ireland, because you really got to check this out for yourself.
Okay, so the rest I'll do from here. The Wicked and the Divine, issue number... What issue number is it?
11.
11? Yeah. And this one actually did not disappoint me, for once. It's basically, Laura meets up with this old elder who, well, I'll get to that in a minute because it just leaves us off there. We get a nice little scene of, what was his name? He basically asks him that if you want to have a life of this rock star, what you need to do is kill him. And at first he wasn't too, you know, keen on doing that. But then when, you know, the whole thing of saying, you know, you can have this life if you do so. And sure enough, talking sense into him, he goes and tries to kill the rock star, who actually was one step further that can see him. And they have a little bit of a fight between each other. So definitely, I can't remember his name. I think Kuin. I can't remember. So Laura talks with the elderly woman right here. We don't really get her name.
We're about to end it, so quickly. Finish it.
Yeah. So basically, they have a talk scene with each other, and she wants to bring back Parasfian. Go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they meet again, so they're reunited. And she has more of the powers, because remember, with the snapping of the fingers, with the whole Lucifer stuff like that, so in return to that, she gets a singing voice, but then there's this big thing that happens with the house that gets exploded, and we don't know how or why that happens, so basically we're going to find out in the next issue. That's the best I could sum it up of the book. It wasn't a disappointment like I thought it would be, because I wasn't really too about the book. But, and a fast read too, actually, because of more of the black dialogue that's in there. Like, it has a black dialogue than the picture, and da-da-da-da, so. For once, it's a good book. But let's see how the next one goes.
Right. Alright, guys, give us just 2 seconds, and we will be right back with, well, we'll continue with this week's indie review. Right, we're back. We're in Dark Horse for one book.
Yes.
The Witcher Fox Children, issue 3 of 5. How was this one?
This one was a little bit better, actually. Basically, the books that I said that were not so good actually were better. In The Witcher, there's this lake that they are stranded on. And in the lake are these mystical creatures. They're actually, I forgot what they were called, these entities that actually cause illusions. Like, basically, they'll be the illusions of buried treasure, where these women, creepy-like creatures are in the water, and basically they take them in as their lover and everything, but in other words, they kill them, and their spirit never goes to rest. Let's just put it that way. So they meet up with this ghost-like creature, and you know, I like how the Witcher people are saying, like, you know, oh, this isn't real, this is all big game and everything, and Garlet's like saying, you know, you You wanted me to come on this adventure. I came with you thinking that I would have my sword and everything, but it's all turning out to be a disaster, and you people just, you know, he finally wakes up, like, seeing, like, what's going on and everything. And we find out one of the characters is actually an elf, one of the girl characters. I forgot what her name was. But the Witcher learned not to judge, because Witchers don't judge about what people are. So now, with knowing that the buried treasure wasn't out there, because of it all being illusions, because they said illusions, how many times in this issue I miscounted after 5 or 6 times. Now they have to go out on the adventure to find where the real buried treasure is that isn't an illusion of anything. But really awesome action too, that was in the book as well.
Alright, we have Dead Drop, issue number 2 from Valiant.
Yes.
How was this?
Dead Drop was a really amazing book. It talks about this kid who is an archer trying to stop the terrorists. Because there's this girl on the train. Remember the whole virus thing that they had in that little bottle? Basically, he found out who had the virus and put a tractor on her, so that way he can go after her to stop this virus from getting everywhere. Because one drop and that's it. It's like a big plague that's going to happen. So throughout this whole issue, he tries to go after her, like, you know, during the trains, on foot, and, you know, just everywhere. And the book has some graphic stuff. I don't want to say what it was, but he's just doing for the common good, just to stop the terrorists. And you know how the policemen, like, you know, they don't believe him and everything about the whole thing, about, like, they think that he's causing a ruckus rather than stopping the terrorists that have the virus. It all works a little bit sketchy in a good way, and you know, like, I'm just gonna say the archer because I can't remember what his name is, tries to stop all this, and he finds all these clues, and actually has the virus from where it was dropped. But then he gets kidnapped by these hooded-like ninjas that take him in a truck, and it's to be continued from there. So definitely more of curiosity to find out what happens from there in the next issue of Dead Drop.
All right, we got Dave. We're now on IDW. Issue number 5.
The final issue, I believe, to this it is. And it's just really about him fighting against the aliens, along with his son who came. And, you know, he didn't want his son to come, but I like the bondage in the fight that they have with each other.
The bond in the fight.
Well, the bond in the fight. And then he's telling his son about the whole virus thing that's been infected, and he tells his wife and the wife's sister about it, and just the whole thing about the aliens, the Collide, I think they're called, that are trying to take over the Earth. So it's really a robot going after the whole crew, and it's an amazing fight that Dave was in that fought the whole aliens, and it's just to wipe them all out to save the planet, and I guess remember him by what he did. So, I'm not going to say how the ending was of how he got rid of them. You're just going to have to see for yourself. But, Dave sort of doesn't make it alive in a way. But, you know, like, we see the light switch go off, but I think there's going to be a follow-up story that he's alive, or someone's going to take him in and repair him. Because that could be a way that they could follow up that, thinking that he is dead, but he really isn't. Like, you get what I'm saying, right?
Sure.
So it could be a follow-up story to that, and then there's just like a whole thing where the robots are setting up their own army in case of such other terror that happens for the future, and
Dave 2, In Your Face, September 2015.
So yeah, I didn't see that. So apparently there will be a follow-up story, I guess, in that, and maybe he'll be alive then, because that could play. I could call it right here and now. So wow, what a great way.
And in the back here, Casey and April, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the iconic duo, set out for an adventure in this all-new miniseries. So that's the new TMNT miniseries. In June it's starting.
So, yeah.
This month. So we finished Mutanimals and we're going right into Casey and April. See, look at that. And I was wondering when the next TMNT mini was going to start.
Well, now you know.
Final issue of the review, Samurai Jack issue 20.
Yes, and the writer Jin Zub, I did interview at the special edition New York Comic Convention. It was a really nice interview that he had, and I definitely would recommend you check out that interview on Comic Frontline. But anyway, in Samurai Jack, it just talks about this guy that interviews people about who Samurai Jack is and what he stood for, basically. And this guy actually says that he would take him to Samurai Jack, and he has like a beard mustache and stuff like that. And he just has this talk with him about how he became this samurai and how he uses his samurai powers and stuff. And it's a really...
it's an homage to Samurai Jack, really.
The homage of that. And, you know, when he meets up with him, they just have a talk with each other about, you know, all that. And he just talks about, you know, how everything, you know, about Aku and all that was formatted after that, and it's just the legend will never die is what he was trying to say throughout the whole book. Now they did say that it was the end, but they did say though in the letterer thing there to let IDW and Cartoon Network know that if you want more Samurai Jack, because if we get more support from this book and Cartoon Network,
Jin Zub will be back.
Jin Zub will definitely be back, and I did say a question about the interview if we will be seeing him, and you know, he just loved writing Samurai Jack, and Samurai Jack was an amazing issue. 20 issues, get the whole trade paperback, because it was, I mean, there was a little bit of a hiccup here and there, like 1 or 2-ish issues, but throughout the whole issue, I really enjoyed it. It broadened my horizons of who Samurai Jack was, because I didn't really watch it as growing up, like a few episodes I watched it, but this one actually gave me a more wide perspective of who he is. Definitely check it out, and Jin Zub did an amazing job of that.
Alright, and with that, guys, that's it for this indie review. Hopefully we'll be gearing up on time for the Big 2 review. But until then, don't forget to check out comic-related Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Frontline Live is tomorrow, and Dark Avenger Live is this Friday.
Yeah.
Don't cry.
Well, the Frontline Live.
Take care, everybody, and we will see you guys in the next review.
Later, everybody.